What's going on, everybody? Chase with IW Hockey here today with Dan, who is the product line manager of sticks for CCM Hockey here in Montreal with your brand new FT8 Pro line in front of us. Before we start talking tech and spec, how would you describe the JetSpeed player and maybe the shooter profile that you built it for?
Yeah, definitely. So the JetSpeed stick is a very interesting stick, I think. We have a very unique flex profile. It's called the hybrid flex point. So what that is, it's a very versatile stick. So it combines both the playmaking style of player and shooting style of player. So with this one here, we have an R shaft, which is more round, very comfortable in the hand, very natural feeling. And really when that style of player we're looking at is more of that Connor McDavid kind of player, really that player who wants the puck on their stick and really looking to create a lot of good plays, but also wants to shoot the puck a bit as well. So best of both worlds in this case.
Well, that's what FT8 Pro and really the JetSpeed line has always been about. Best of both worlds. The FT7 Pro was incredibly popular, so I know you didn't want to change too much and you really wanted to make sure you're still providing that feel that players are loving. So going into the FT8 Pro, how would you describe the mission or what was your goal going into this new line?
So the key feature on this one and what we wanted to focus on was really distinguishing our sub-brands from one to another. So how can we really make this the best playmaking stick on the market? And I think that's exactly what we did with the upgrades here. The main feature I would like to point out is our new Evo blade on the stick. So what that is we have our blade transition from an X soft blade to a stiff blade. What that does is really on the stick handling portion of your stick where it's really gonna be towards the heel, it's gonna be very soft, so create a lot of good puck sensation on the stick. And as you move up towards the toe of the stick, where you're gonna be shooting a lot, it's gonna become a lot stiffer, so it'll create more of a pop feeling when you're shooting.
It's all about balance, the stick line. It's crazy because, yeah, you're catching passes that seem to stick to your heel, and then as you're taking those shots, maybe a little extra zip and more accuracy compared to the previous generation. And maybe for that 7 Pro user looking to get into the 8 Pro, how would you describe the differences in blade feel between the two?
So I think it's actually a very unique experience when you're trying the Evo blade. Everyone who's tried it so far has noticed a huge difference when using it. So like I said, really that soft feeling transitioning to the stiffer portion, which you wouldn't have had on the FT7 Pro, really creates a much better shooting experience overall for the shooter.
And let's talk more about the playability. You mentioned it's an upgrade in not just the carbon fiber, but the internal layers as well. It's not something you can necessarily see. We see a great upgrade in the graphics this year, but when it comes to the Aluply and the new Sigmatex, how would you describe the improvements this year compared to years past?
Definitely. So I think durability is always a huge topic of discussion when talking about sticks, right? We want our sticks to be very performing, but we also want them to be very durable. So I think that's exactly what we have here with our new Aluply technology, right? So what this is we have carbon fiber mixed with aluminum into the layers of the shaft. So we have 3 layers of aluminum really towards the outside of the stick. And what this does is really creates a crack propagation system on the stick. So rather than breaking on impact, aluminum is very good material because it stretches before it breaks. So we have a much more durable stick here. Our slash test results have improved significantly with the use of aluminum mixed with the carbon fiber. And I think we have that with our new Sigma ST2X weave, which you would notice the pattern on the blade of the stick, really creates a better overall product in stick, but for both durability standpoint and also performance.
It's always such a bummer to look down on a new stick. You take that hack, you kind of see that crack begin to form. With that Aluply, it's going to help prevent that crack from forming in the first place because that's not going to break. It's going to take time and then break down, and that's when you get the severe breakage, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I think the tests we've done so far, like I said, have been very, very good. We introduced it for the first time in the Vision stick. The results have been very significant, so we thought it was a no-brainer to add this into the JetSpeed family to really fit that kind of user.
And another thing that I feel like is coming from that Vision family is the changes in blade patterns on the 8 Pro. It sounds like the Vision was the inspiration behind that. What is that going to do for that player watching this video at home?
Yeah, so typically in the past, we've always had those P28 and P29 curves available. What we've noticed, and especially a trend at Pro, is a lot of players are moving towards that plus 1/4 height of the stick. So not necessarily a max blade, but really 1/4 inch taller towards the heel of the stick. And what this does is it gives you the benefits of a taller blade, so you won't get as much puck skipping over your stick. Really good for face-offs, really good for deflections, but you're also not compromising as much on weight and balance of the stick, because typically with the max blade, you're gonna feel it very very bottom heavy on the stick, whereas this one, visually, it's very hard to tell the difference between the two, but you're still getting all those added benefits of a taller blade.
And to recap, where's the difference between the 1/4 inch and a max blade height? Where's the height difference there?
It'll be really towards the toe, the heel area of the stick, rather than coming from the toe all the way down to the heel.
Okay. And then another cool adjustment for the 8 Pro this year are the lengths and maybe some of the flex offerings as well. What was the inspiration behind those?
Definitely. So we know the trend on the sticks is really going down in flex, and we really want to capitalize on that opportunity, right? So we have 65 flex now available in both senior and intermediate at the respective sizes. So we'll have 60 inches at senior, 57 inches at 65 intermediate. And I think that just goes towards where the market is trending and what the players are using. I know for myself, I've been going down in flex probably by 5 every year. So it's very interesting to follow down that path.
For sure. Speaking of following down that path, we have the FT8. If we had these two sticks on the stick rack, it would be hard to pick out which one was the top of the line one. So let's start with the exterior here. What are a couple key features that we're gonna find that you're proud about on this 8?
So I think you called it out very well. If you look at the two sticks visually, very similar in terms of graphic. We have a nice chrome patch in the middle of the stick. I think it adds a lot of eye appeal to the stick. When we're looking at the construction itself, we have our pure carbon technology. So it allows for a very performing shaft, but also very durable as well. And we'll obviously be finishing this off with our SigmaTex blade, really, like I said, for added benefits in both of performance and durability.
And what's going on underneath the hood in terms of the blade construction?
So when we're looking at this blade here, it'll follow down the JetSpeed DNA, so that's really more towards that playmaking style of stick. So we have a softer blade on the FT8 here to match more with what we're doing at the Pro level as well.
And is that more similar to the 7 Pro that we saw as well?
Correct, exactly. It'd be similar in that sense. One thing I would like to note on the FT8 as well is we have this stick available in 3 inches taller in both senior and intermediate, really to cater towards those players who are looking for a taller stick without having to put an end plug in as well.
Yeah, definitely not for a player like myself, but definitely those taller, lankier players. And then I want to say, before we move on to the 862, it does feel like there's a little bit different end cap this year in the 8 Pro. What's the story behind that?
Definitely. So I think it's a good story to tell. Definitely with the Pro sticks, we have our new end cap, which will be a bit more rounded. Honestly, what it is, it's a bit more comfortable in the hand. So when you're really holding the top of your stick, really forms towards your palm of your hand. It's also made of a softer material too, so we'll notice a lot less wear and tear on the palms of your gloves too.
Yeah, it's quite comfortable. No hard edges like a more of a traditional one. So definitely a small but noticeable upgrade there. Let's move on to the 860 and the 880 sticks. This is more for, that competitive player and that recreational player. When you look at your sticks here compared to the competition, what are a couple key features that really stand out to you?
So especially when we're talking about the 880, I think the main point I'd like to hammer home here with this one is the weight and balance of the stick. So we're sitting around 450 grams with the 880. For this price point, very good weight on the stick, but a lot of love was given into the weight and balance of the stick too. So when you're feeling the stick, you pick it off the rack, you feel in your hands, it feels very light, not only because it's at 450 grams, but because the balance has been evenly distributed towards the stick, and it doesn't feel neither top heavy or bottom heavy.
And it still looks great, runs in the family too. And then the 860's got a little more pop, a little more for that recreational casual player, but still a lot of performance here. For that player at home watching this video, what are a couple key specs we find here?
Yeah, so I think that you pointed out perfectly. The first thing you notice is that red pop on the stick. I think the player at this level here really wants something that's going to flash a bit more, and I think it does a great job at alluding to the past JetSpeed DNA, which has always been very red. When we're looking at the stick itself, though, we still have a very high-performing stick in terms of weight and balance. A lot of focus on that, just like the 880. But yeah, overall, a very well-performing stick at a good price point.
Perfect, Dan. Well, again, another great year for JetSpeed. So just hats off to you, the team, and thank you for having us out here. And for you at home that want to check out the entire line of JetSpeed sticks, make sure you head over to icewarehouse.com.